Try to crochet for about 15-30 minutes in the morning.
Sigourney, Sigourney, how's your macaroni?
Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. Last week I told you that I was going to be hosting my very first Cal, and now I'm presenting week 1. So for week 1 of the Cheaters Gingham Blanket Cal, we are going to crochet this first panel here. The yarn I'm using is Color Made Easy by Lion Brand, and I'm using the colors Birch and Shade for this panel. You will also need an 8mm crochet hook, a large-eyed tapestry needle, and a pair of scissors. If you haven't heard about the Cal yet, it's not too late, and it will never be late because this pattern will always be free on my blog. You can find out all of the details for the Cal, including the materials you'll need, what we're actually making, color alternatives, and how to resize. And you will find all of that at the link in the description box below. All right, let's get on to week 1. All right, to get started with the first panel, we're going to create a slip knot and we're going to chain 14. So yarn over your hook, pull through, that's 1, 2, 3, 4. Now we're going to be half double crocheting in each stitch across. And this is a half double crochet in US terms. So if you're in the UK, this would be a half treble. So yarn over your hook and insert your hook into that third chain. So 1, 2, 3. So the third chain from your hook, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through all 3 loops. Now go ahead and half double crochet into the next chain and each chain across. All right, so we have our first row of half double crochet. You should have 12 stitches in this row. Now chain 2, and this chain 2 does not count as a stitch. So we're going to half double crochet into that very first stitch here, and then half double crochet in each stitch across. All right, now chain 2 and turn your work. And now for rows 3 through 9, we're just going to repeat row 2. So we'll chain 2, turn, and half double crochet in each stitch across. So I'm going to meet you at the end of row 9. Okay, so now that I've reached the end of row 9, I'm going to change my yarn here. And there are 2 ways you can do this. You can attach this yarn seamlessly, or you can go ahead and tie off your work here, cut your yarn, and then just add on a new yarn at the beginning. I know some people don't like the knots here, but it doesn't bother me personally, and I like that it makes my work more secure. So if that's something that you want to do, you could do that. It's totally up to you. Either way, we're adding our new color here. For this first panel, we're going to be adding Shade next. And of course, this will all depend on the color options that you chose at the beginning. Now chain 2, and you're going to repeat the same thing. So what we're going to do for this first panel is alternate the colors Birch and Shade every 9 rows until we have 11 total squares. So you should have 6 squares in the color Birch and 5 squares in the color Shade. So I am going to meet you at the very last panel, and make sure that you stay till the end because I'm going to share some sanity and time management tips, as well as some additional details about the first week of the Cal. Okay, so I finally reached the end of my first panel, so I'm going to yarn over, pull through. I already cut my yarn, so I'm going to pull tight to tighten, and here we are. So this is what your panel should look like. Oh, here is my very first panel. So we have Birch, Shade, Birch, Shade, Birch, Shade, and there are 11 of these squares here. So you'll need to complete 4 panels for this week's assignment. But before you go, let me give you some time management tips. Each panel takes me a little over an hour to make, so this could be longer or shorter for you. If you don't have all the time in the world, try to crochet for about 15-30 minutes in the morning, 15-30 minutes at night, and see if you can squeeze in a couple of blocks. That way you can get all 4 panels done this week. And if you don't get them all done, don't stress about it. It's not a race, this is just for fun. So my second tip for you is to weave these ends in before you move on to week 2. The reason why I say that is because weaving in these ends doesn't feel as overwhelming as weaving in an entire blanket's worth of ends. So for sanity's sake, go ahead and weave in your ends before you get to week 2. And by the end of the blanket, you'll be like, yes, no more ends to weave in. All right, so that is it for week 1 of the Gingham blanket crochet along. Give this video a thumbs up if you liked what you saw. Subscribe so you don't miss any more of these videos or future videos. And if you haven't signed up for the cowl, make sure that you do that in the description box below so we can crochet this blanket together. I'll see you next week.